The Eastern Conference is wide open right now, with no clear-cut favorite. Some teams are trying to lock in their status as real contenders, while others are looking to make the jump into that next tier, or at least solidify a spot in the play-in. And in a conference this tight, sometimes it only takes one move to change everything. Today, we're breaking down one realistic trade target for each Eastern Conference team that actually has a shot at pushing forward, whether that's chasing contention or making a meaningful postseason run. Let's get into it. Our first team up is the number 1 seeded Detroit Pistons, who have been a revelation this season. With a record of 24-8, they have been a great team and have been shocking many fans. And the move I actually have them making is trying to trade for Trey Murphy. One of the big things we've seen with the Pistons is Cade Cunningham's load has been absolutely otherworldly. He needs to be on the floor, he needs to have the ball in the hands for them to be successful, and it's just such a burden, especially through an 82 game season and potentially trying to make a run to the finals, which requires at least 12 games, probably going to be more, right? And if you're the Pistons, you really cannot afford Cade Cunningham to wear himself out and potentially suffer an injury, and he definitely needs some help on that end. And what better fit than a hyper-athletic, floor-stretching forward than Trey Murphy? He might be a little pricey, but I think he'll be cheaper than a Lauri Markkanen, like many people are mocking to the Pistons, and I think he fits the timeline much better. He's only about 24 years old, 25 years old, and he'll be a great fit alongside Cade Cunningham as another ball handler and another floor spacer, and he also holds his end on a defensive end, which is what the Pistons have made their identity. Next team up, we have the New York Knicks, who are the 2 seeds and have been looking way better over the last 2 weeks and have become one of the most potent offenses in the entire NBA. And it's really behind Jalen Brunson, Cat, Mikal, and OG, and them meshing together, as well as Mike Brown's new offensive system, which is kind of why I don't want to really drastically shake things up. I think if you ask many people, the Knicks are still probably the favorite out in the East, and I want them to go ahead and trade for Keon Ellis from the Sacramento Kings. I think he could be a great guard off the bench, someone who kind of does fit that Deuce McBride role, but he's someone who could play alongside Deuce McBride because of his off-the-ball capabilities. He's a great defender, he's a good shooter, and we haven't seen many minutes out of him in Sacramento, and it seems Sacramento's willing to part ways with him, and he's a pretty impactful player. Yes, he's not a Giannis Antetokounmpo or anything like that, but he's still someone who's going to give you quality minutes, and he's someone who will fit on his team very well, especially alongside Brunson if you really need to run a 2-guard lineup, or alongside OG and Mikal as another perimeter defender. Next team up is the Raptors. The Raptors have also been shockingly good this season. Yes, the past few weeks they have been mid. They're 5-5 in their last 10. But I could still see them making a nice big move if they really want to. And the trade target I have for them is Anthony Davis. One of the big issues the Raptors have been having is with Jakob Poeltl. He doesn't look like the same player as he was last year. He's been dealing with this back issue for a little bit, and that's something that they said has been bothering him a ton. And with Anthony Davis being on the market and being pretty cheap from what many reports are saying, I think you could easily make a trade for him and make a promising offer centered around RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl. Maybe that is giving up too much, but I don't see how you part ways with quickly in a potential AD deal. You still need to have a point guard on the roster, but I think Anthony Davis would fit pretty well in Toronto, especially alongside Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Quickly, and a couple other young talents on their team. Next up is the Boston Celtics, who have also been shockingly good this season. I have them trading for Nicholas Claxton from the Brooklyn Nets. I think Claxton's going to be a little bit more expensive than, a typical center on the market because he is young and he's super duper versatile, and he's pretty much what the Celtics need from a center right now. Everyone's uncertain if Jason Tatum's going to return or not, but I mean, if the Celtics keep winning games like this, he just might. And for his return, you probably want to get another center, another, really tall, lanky defensive center. I think Neemias Queta has been doing a great job for them. He's been pretty good, but I think Nicholas Claxton is just an obvious upgrade, and it's pretty easy to get there with Anthony Simons, maybe a first, because they do own basically all their first round picks, and I think it's a very fun landing destination for Claxton. It's a good trade that the Celtics should definitely consider. Next team up is the Sixers. So I also don't have them making a massive move. I have them setting the target for Herb Jones. The main reason being is the only real way you can make a legitimate move is if you part ways with Joel Embiid or Paul George, because Tyrese Maxey is basically untouchable. You're not going to trade him for anything. And I don't think you're going to part ways with Joel Embiid because he's been getting way better over the past few weeks. He's been playing better. He's been getting healthy, and you kind of want to keep that on your roster. And I think Paul George is essentially an untradeable contract. The length is too long. He's making far too much money. He doesn't look as good as he did while he was with the Clippers, and you kind of want to make a small move around the margins. And I think Herb Jones could be a perfect player. You have Jared McCain, who's still such an interesting asset, and a team is definitely willing to trade for him. So maybe a Jared McCain and Herb Jones swap is something that gets the work done, kind of like what we saw with Josh Giddey and Alex Caruso a couple years back. This is a move that I'm really a fan of for the Sixers because one of the issues you have with your backcourt is that they're pretty small, with VJ and Tyrese Maxey being both under 6'4". I know Herb Jones isn't the tallest, but he's someone who you could play alongside both of them when you stagger their minutes, and it's going to be a pretty fun fit in my opinion. Next team up is the Orlando Magic. I have them also making a pretty small move because they made their big move in the offseason for Desmond Bane. I have them trading for a bit more shooting with Corey Kispert from the Washington Wizards. Once again, this is a pretty easy deal to get done. You just have to throw in a Jonathan Isaac salary and maybe another asset like a Jet Howard who they want to take a flyer on. Maybe that's not even what it costs, maybe a couple of second round picks. Corey Kispert's on a pretty decent contract. He's making around $14 million a year. He's a 40% three-point shooter. He does a little bit of everything on the court. He isn't the best defensively, but that is why you have, those lanky guard defenders on the team, lanky wings on the team. And I think he would be a great fit for the Magic, and he'd just add that much more shooting, because that is definitely something that they could use more of, because Desmond Bane probably just isn't enough, and if you add Corey Kispert, you add much more spacing. Next team up is the Miami Heat, who I actually have making a pretty big move for their point guard of the future, and hopefully someone who could lead them into contention, and that's Ja Morant. I think Ja Morant would be a nice, fun fit in Miami, especially with their culture, because I think that's something Ja could tremendously benefit from. And if there's one organization that I could think really could do it, it is the Miami Heat. I do understand the kind of clashes that might happen here, especially with Ja and Eric Spoelstra. Ja Morant wasn't a big fan of Taylor Jenkins' offense. Ja Morant isn't a fan of Tomas Isolo's offense. And he might not be a fan of Miami's free-flowing offense, where he's going to have to be kind of not the primary offensive engine and instead play a little bit more off the ball. But I think he'd be a pretty good fit next to Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. And it wouldn't take too much to really trade for him, especially considering his value is so low right now. He hasn't been playing the best, but I definitely think he has a lot of career left in him. He has a lot of basketball left in him. He still could be a very high level point guard, and I think a team is definitely going to take a flyer on him if Memphis is interested in trading him. Next team up I have is the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I have them making a pretty fun move. I know this one might be controversial, but it's from Michael Porter Jr. from Brooklyn. Michael Porter Jr. has been playing out of his fucking mind in Brooklyn. He's averaging 25 points, hyper efficient. He's actually passing the ball. His defense has been pretty good, and he's always been a good rebounder. He's 6'10". He's a 6'10" shooting guard. He like, when you kind of put Michael Porter Jr. in the frames of like a casual fan, it's kind of like, how is he not the best player in the league? 6'10", can shoot the shit out the ball. He's athletic, tall, lanky. He has basically everything you really want. And I think alongside Evan Mobley on the Cavs and Darius Garland potentially, and Donovan Mitchell, he's a really good fit. He'd slot right next to Evan Mobley. His role wouldn't be as convoluted as it was in Denver, where he's just reduced to a catch and shoot threat. He could still put the ball on the floor. He's still one of the primary offensive, creators on that team, and he could definitely benefit from playing alongside a defensive-minded big in Evan Mobley, where he can reduce his kind of workload. And we've seen with Brooklyn, man, this dude is efficient. This dude is really good, and he's someone who I think the Cavs would definitely be interested in. And he'd be a pretty welcome switch up in my opinion. Our next team up is Atlanta, who have been in the rumor mill a ton lately. for wanting to shop Trae Young apparently, and Trae Young is actually receiving almost no interest from what reports are saying. And I actually have them making the big move, making the big time move that could really save themselves if they, man, because I don't know what you do if you're the Hawks, but it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. They have all the assets in the world to actually try and pull this trade off. There's a bunch of mocks I've seen. I personally mocked the Kristaps Porzingis for Sasha and a bunch of motherfucking picks. One, because I don't think, you trade for Giannis if you don't get to keep Trae Young. Because you could always trade, you can't always trade Trae Young, but you could trade Trae Young in the offseason, really, if you really want to. Giannis is going to stay, obviously. But imagine a team of like Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Giannis, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu. There isn't much shooting, but I don't know. I kind of like it. I do like it. I definitely think he's a legit target for them. I've seen Anthony Davis as well, which is not bad. I just didn't want to repeat. Anthony Davis is probably more realistic. I just didn't want to repeat the, trade targets for every team. But I definitely think Giannis is, the main fish here. Next team up is the Bulls. This isn't nothing too sexy, nothing too flashy. It's draft capital. Rebuild the motherfucking team, bro. This shit is so bad. It's actually shocking how backwards you could go as a friend. Not even backwards. How you're just stuck in mud. It's unfortunate Noah Senge got injured. I like Noah Senge a lot coming into this draft, and I thought, Bulls made a good pick there. But you definitely, bro, just rebuild. Please just rebuild. Like, nobody wants any of the guys on your team. Just get rid of them. Try and get a top 3 pick. This top 3 is loaded. Just try and go get someone who could be a franchise cornerstone. Please do that. Next team up is the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, I don't have them making like a big time move. You've seen Zach LaVine mocks, DeMar DeRozan mocks. That shit does not make you a contender. The Bucks said, oh, Malik Monk and contender in the same sentence. Absolutely not. I have them having their target as Dylan Harper with a potential Giannis move to San Antonio. If they get Dylan Harper in return, that's so big. That's your franchise guy. Dylan Harper is going to be a superstar. Mark my words. This dude is amazing. If he was on any other team besides the Spurs, where he was getting first option chances like Cooper Flag, he would be the rookie of the year. He is so good, so crafty, so smart. If the Bucks could get him in a Giannis trade, I'd be so happy. I love Dylan Harper. I'm a huge fan. For our last and final team is the Charlotte Hornets, and I think the Hornets are actually going to be in a buy now move. And I don't think it's going to be like a massive move like where they're treating their draft picks. They're definitely going to keep their draft picks. And I have them setting their eyes on Jarrett Allen from the Cavs. Yes, with MPJ going to the Cavs in my kind of ahead, I do think they're going to part ways with one of Garland or Jarrett Allen. And I think Jarrett Allen's probably the candidate. And if that's the case, I think the Hornets should definitely try and get him. They need that defensive big. I think Ryan Kalkbrenner has been great. Musa Diabate has been great. But I think Jarrett Allen is just on a different level. He's a former All-Star. And playing alongside LaMelo Ball, playing alongside, those guys down there who are fun, energetic, they play quick. I think he could really benefit from that. And it'd be nice for him to have another change of scenery. And I don't think it really costs a whole ton. I don't think the Cavs want Miles Bridges, right? So you might have to reroute him or something. But I definitely think that's something that's very intriguing if you're the Hornets. And it's definitely something I would absolutely consider. And that's it for basically all the, potential playoff / play-in teams in the East. The teams I didn't mention, let me just go over them really quickly, were the Nets, Wizards, and Pacers, who are very clearly tanking. I just didn't mention them because I just thought, what else would I say except for draft capital? They're not going to have really any trade targets. I mean, the Pacers could probably trade for a center too, but once again, I'm just kind of focusing on what we have this season, not really next season. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about some of the targets I had for maybe some of your favorite teams. Any of these you disagree on, any of these you love, because there are a couple here that I love more than the others, like the Pistons one, the Hornets one I really like. But yeah, just let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll definitely do the same for the Western Conference teams, which is a little bit harder, but it's definitely fun to kind of have these discussions. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. I'll see you guys in another one.